Eric Reed, the mortgage firm, Reed Team Mortgage, here today with JD Van Gilder, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. How are you today, JD?
I'm good, Eric. Thanks for coming to talk to me today.
Yep. I wanted to talk about the extra mile. Not a lot of traffic on the extra mile. It's never crowded on the extra mile.
No, never is. Not a lot of people do the extra mile.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is in a lot of businesses, and especially in real estate, things can sometimes be transactional, and then certain real estate professionals will go above and beyond. I pride myself on the time that I'll take to talk with people to really understand their situation, explain all their options, and just my expertise in knowing programs so I can get them in the right programs.
Right.
And then with you, same thing. You took a lot of time with this couple that's transitioning here, veterans that are moving down from Tennessee. They've been in Tennessee pretty much their whole life.
Yeah, they've been there a long time.
Yeah, and she really wanted to get out of there. It was her dream to get here to Florida. It was quite an emotional process because they sold their home on Wednesday and then closed on their home on Thursday,
right.
or the very day after that. And that's a lot. It's an emotional, financially impactful purchasing decision on top of the sale of their home.
Yeah.
And they're moving here. Everything's got to fit into place here. You did a great job of handling their transaction. Thank you so much for putting them in touch with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so we had a great closing yesterday, and then I noticed as soon as the closing's over and you've collected your check, they got their keys, they got their proceeds back from the other sale, but it didn't end there, did it?
No, it didn't. Well, this couple, they had rented a U-Haul van, but they couldn't fit all their stuff in one van, so they had a trailer behind it as well, and they weren't very good at driving this. She was able to drive it. The husband has back issues and wasn't able to drive. They got a smooth ride truck, but trust me, it wasn't a smooth ride truck because every little bounce you felt. And she wasn't comfortable driving through the neighborhood with cars and congestion. Plus, they were on a dead-end street. They would have had to back that thing up, and she doesn't know how to back up with a trailer. So I know how to do this very well. So I volunteered my services. Hey, I'll drive this for you, and that way you can unload and everything's okay. When I got there, they didn't have help to unload. So I actually stayed to help them unload the furniture and things as well, because a lot of these things were heavy, and I can't have a veteran that has already issues with his back lifting these heavy things. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do all of this, and so we stayed until it was all done, and even drove the truck to the gas station for them so they could fill that up. But it was a great day. Yeah. They were happy with the purchase. They were happy with our performance, and one thing that's going to lead to is when somebody mentions a lender that they for a friend, a reference for a friend, they're going to talk about you and me, Eric, because we do go the extra mile. You explain things very well, and I'm not going to let any of my clients have a need for something that I can't help with.
Very well put. So basically a full trailer full of all their life's belongings and a truck full. Yeah. Trailers that need unhooked after you unload that and back that thing back up in there again, this giant truck.
Yeah, it was a big truck.
And get everything out there. So there goes your day. It's a day well spent, like you said. And that's really what it's all about there. At the end of that transaction, they're raving, okay? Yeah. Which just means you're going to come to mind to them when, a future transaction for them, a friend, family, colleague, co-worker, anybody is looking to do a purchase or sell a home, you're going to come to the front of the mind. And that's really what it's all about. Having the expertise to get the deal done under the great terms and understanding all that, but then again, going the extra mile.
Right. You put yourself in, if you were, let's take money off of the table. If you were to run your business only getting 5-star reviews, would you run your business any differently? And I think that would defines a good service-oriented business.
Absolutely.
You do your business for the 5-star reviews. If you have raving fans, that is how you should always conduct your business, and that's how we do it here at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Leave them raving. They're going to come back to you. They're going to refer you. Yeah, so it was great that you got to help them. You also have another couple that you're helping now from Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to ramp up quite a bit. I got some buyers out there shopping. And I know we're getting almost a little flood of listings here recently too.
Yeah,
So
we are getting more activity, so people are at least going back into the market. You know, we've got, like you and I were talking about, there are a lot of volatility in the market right now, and you know, we've got to look at what can we do as far as maintaining stability, as far as housing goes, because regardless of what the market's doing, people need a place to live. They need security with their housing, and you're here to help them with the lending needs of that, and I'm here to help them with buying and selling and making their life easier through home ownership.
yeah, helping them understand what's right for them. It's all about your unique circumstances. You know, looking at their situation. You know, there's you nailed it. Short-term volatility. Let's not let that get in the way of our long-term goals.
Right.
What is it you're looking to do? You know, if it's a primary purchase, well, does it make sense to stay in a rental? Sometimes it could. Very rarely does it. But we'll break that down and we'll look at that as an investment. Does it make sense to purchase it as an investment? Even if maybe you're not cash flowing right away, there'd be a number of reasons why it does. You know, you got appreciation over time over properties.
Right.
And remember, when you're looking at other investments, you know, when we're talking appreciation, you're getting obviously some basic concepts. Appreciation over the overall value of the home. You know, if the home's worth $400K when you purchase it, you're not spending cash $400K. Right. You know, so you're getting the appreciation off of all this. That's a big deal. And then somebody's going to be paying that investment for you on a monthly basis, and hopefully over time it does cash flow. Yeah, so you know, something like, you know, the S&P or just any stock. Well, yeah, hopefully that appreciates over time as well. But that's only the money that you're physically able to put in out of pocket. So this is, you know, rarely do I hear people regret their real estate investments. You know, in fact, earlier this week someone says, you know, you really did a smart thing purchasing in all your investment properties. At least you have something. You know, my 401k is down, my IRA is down. Well, you know, that's a whole nother thing. You know, and says, well, yeah, that's true. You know, I'm glad I put myself in a position to purchase those. Don't regret those. So yeah, but we can look at that and we can come up with some creative ways. You know, it's usually pretty easy to purchase an investment property.
And you know, one thing when you talk about investment, Eric, every time I talk with somebody, they always say, you know, I wish I had bought that 10 years ago. I wish I had bought that 5 years ago. Or man, I wish I had bought that last year. Because property values are always going up. Now, sometimes, I mean, we did have a crash in 2008 where property values plummeted. But those homes that were purchased in 2005, 2006 that were at high rates then, that was the peak of the market, where our values are far surpassed those now. So we are still climbing. Now you did have a lull there, and values fluctuate slightly, but the best time to buy real estate was maybe 10 years ago, but the next best time is right now.
It sure is. Yeah, you can. You know, it's very simple. We all have AI now, so you can say what has home appreciation done over the last 10 years or 15 years, and it might be 5%. And you're like, well, not recently. Well, of course, but we had some surges there in 21 and 22.
Where things were going 20% per year in some of these years.
Exactly. So remember, it's a lot of money, you know, if you have a real estate portfolio of appreciation of that over time. So, yeah, rarely does it make sense to wait to purchase real estate.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
And then, you know, just volatility again with other markets, just something to touch on. You know, there's a lot of markets and people that might feel like they're in between a rock and a hard place now. Markets, do we, you know, pull out now? Do we stay in? And, you know, there's a lot of data there that if you pull out, you potentially miss green days. And there's some great data about that. Over the past 20 years, if you've just missed a couple of those green days being out of the market, you've actually lost money in the market. So my advice there, it's always about time in, not timing. Other things where people are between a rock and a hard place right now is consumers with tariffs. You know, builders looking at tariffs, people with purchases looking at tariffs. You might see some surge in spending right now. Like, should I place some big ticket items now in anticipation of a more expensive, less fruitful future? You know,
Right.
and my advice there would be, don't overreact emotionally and think,
Right.
okay, I got to go buy a new laptop now. I got to go buy a new car now, because aren't chips going to go away, you know?
Right. Got to get your new Apple phone now.
Exactly.
Before they have to build plants in the U.S.
Exactly. So, you know, all we can control is our thoughts and actions. We can't control the markets. The markets are always the market, and there's always opportunities in all markets.
Yeah.
So yeah, builders, they're in between a rock and a hard place. Do we raise prices over, you know, future tariffs versus we have some sitting inventory?
Right. I think that's a lot of what I see as people are trying to do, anticipating what's going to happen in the future, but it's unknown. So trying to anticipate what is going to happen, what is going to ripple down from the effects of the tariffs, it's really an unknown. So trying to make bets on what's going to happen, it's a gamble, just like just like the stock market. So I would err in the side of what you're saying, is don't let emotions drive your decision making in volatile times.
Yes, exactly. Anticipating. Nobody can anticipate how the government's going to get involved. Is the Fed going to raise rates? And potentially reignite inflation in anticipation of these tariffs, or cut rates because economic growth is maybe slowing. Again, let's not overreact. Let's look at your situation. Are you trying to build a real estate portfolio? Are you in a rental and you're looking to purchase your first home? Why don't we have these conversations now? We might be able to look at things like cleaning up some credit items.
Right.
You might be very surprised to find out that there's some, very low, if not no money out of pocket options to purchase a home.
Yeah, that's correct. We have incentive programs that are available. So it would be a great thing for Eric to search what is available for you that would help you get into a home. That is an excellent option.
Yeah. Right now I know of 8 down payment assistant programs. They're right for some are better in certain circumstances for others, and there's some good ones coming back too. But yeah, this is great. I really appreciate the opportunity to sit down and talk with you. It's always good. It's a pleasure to work with professionals like you. It's inspirational. It's humbling. When I saw you getting in there, and I didn't know all that was going on. You're going to be unloading a truck, so I actually had a meeting after that. But I feel bad that I didn't join in and offer some of my muscle with you yesterday. You probably got stuck there till what, the end of the day?
Yeah, it was close to the end of the day. I got back to the office right around 4 o'clock. So yeah, it was an all-day affair, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're going to give you a great testimonial, and what great people to do it for. We have some new Floridians.
Yeah.
They made it here. Everything went very smooth for them, and yeah. All right, well, we'll wrap it up there. If you or someone have questions, then I can't recommend real estate professionals like JD here with Your Home Sold Guarantee Realty enough. Again, I'm Eric Reed with Reed Team Mortgage, the mortgage firm. Everybody have a great week. Let's not overreact emotionally to the short-term volatility, and let's keep our eye on our long-term goals.
You bet.